Good morning, yogis. We are here with uh, Vanessa, and we're doing some yoga flow this morning. My apologies on the late start. I was having some technical difficulties at the house I'm house sitting out, so I had to rush over here to do the yogas with you. So come to a comfortable seat, and we'll get started. So regardless of what's happening today or later, we'll just come to be in a present moment. So if you always sit with one leg on top, I encourage you to change it up. Bring your palms facing down onto your thighs. Soften your skin. Just tune into the rhythm of your breath. Inhale fully. Exhale fully, all the way throughout your body. And see if you can allow your breath to bring your spine into alignment. So that means maybe perhaps the shoulders come a little bit back. We tend to kind of be forward as we look at our phones and driving and stuff like that. So think about drawing the chin slightly back, lengthening through the crown of the head, shoulders over your hips. So now the spine is in alignment. So in that next inhalation, all the way up and out as you exhale, think about anchoring your tailbone into the earth, just like it was the root of a tree. And the trunk of that tree is the trunk of your body. And the limbs of the tree are the limbs of your body. Breathing in, exhaling fully. Just becoming aware of any places within the body that may be sticky or tight. There may be also some places that might be really light and easy. And there might also be some places that are neutral. You're just coming into awareness and acknowledging where you're at today. Just like you're scanning the body with breath, you come in to scan and acknowledge where you're at in the mind. So we begin to notice the thoughts of the mind, just like we're watching clouds go by in the sky, right? So just like the weather's always changing outside, the weather's always changing inside. And if the mind starts to get carried away on any little story, just bringing the attention back to your breath, back to the present moment, back to the body. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Let your thumbs and your pinkies press evenly against one another. And perhaps in the small little space of your palms, you may want to set an intention for your practice. And that can be just to be present. It could be to be in the breath, but it could also be for compassion, for gratitude, for love. So whatever, letting it just be one word that resonates within yourself. So that way, when the mind does wander, and it will wander, you can anchor yourself back with your intention and with your breath. So whatever that is for you today, just hold it in your mind and your heart for a moment. We'll inhale together fully. And as we exhale, just bow the mind to the heart. Sealing your intention, release the palms, bring the head up slowly, opening the eyes brightly. Good morning. How are you feeling this morning? Good. Any requests in the body?
No.
Okay, excellent. Let's start by doing some seated. I always sit with one leg on top, so if you want to change it up, you can. We'll do a little bit of seated opening on, and then we'll do some opening on the back. So bring the shoulders up by the ears. Give yourself some shoulder rolls. And back, and then we'll take them forward, or whichever way you were going, we'll go the opposite direction. Then we're going to inhale the arms out and up. We're going to interlace the palms and press them outward. So if you need to bend your elbows in order to give your neck some space, that's fine, or you can extend out. As we exhale, we're curling in, chin to chest, belly button back to spine, just getting into upper mid back. And as we inhale, we're pressing out and up again. And then exhaling, curling. The next time we come up, we're going to take a twist over to the left. So my right hand to my left knee. I'm tensing up on those left fingertips. And just like always, as we exhale, the belly button is drawing back to the spine, and that's where the twist is coming from. We're going to keep the twist, but we'll take our gaze towards that right shoulder or to that right knee, the opposite knee. And then as we release the twist, we're crisscrossing the hands and curling in. Feeling that nice in the upper mid back and behind the shoulder blades. Inhale, cross the hands, press them out once again. And then as we exhale, we'll take the twist to the opposite side. So tensing up on those opposite fingers, drawing the belly button back. And then same thing here, we'll keep the twist, but we'll take the gaze to the opposite knee, breathing into the scaling of the neck. And release, we'll crisscross that arm on top, curl in. Then release, shake it out a little bit. Inhale, take your right hand out and up. As we exhale, we're going to crescent over to the left side or the opposite side. So you can tense up on these bottom fingers, or you can even come down on your forearm if you choose. What you'll notice is I'm not collapsing on this side that I'm bending towards. I'm trying to keep it nice and lifted. And if I need to bend this top elbow at all to make space for my neck, that's fine. Now you can take your gaze up if you choose, if that's okay for your neck, but you can also keep your neck at a neutral position. So we're going to inhale fully here, and as we exhale, we're going to cactus the arm and take the gaze down to the left hand. So we're just breathing into that neck. So as we inhale, either neck to neutral or gaze is up. Exhale, crescenting and looking down to the left hand and cactusing the right arm. If that makes sense. One more. And then we'll take that right hand and we'll let it bring ourselves back up. And keep your gaze kind of down towards that left hand. And then play with the placement of the right hand. So I'm reaching out with the right hand. Thumb might be up. Thumb can be down. And you're still breathing. You'll notice. So the scaling actually runs all the way from your pinky all the way up to behind your ear. Little muscle kind of runs out. Then allow yourself to come back to neutral position. Shake it out. And we're going to do that on the other side. So now I'm going to tense up on my right fingertips or your opposite side. Inhaling up, exhaling, crescenting over. And it might be completely different on this side. So try not to collapse on that right side. Finding a nice stretch in the side body. And then as you're ready, we'll inhale here, either neutral or gaze is up. Exhale, cactus the arm, gaze down. Inhaling, extending, and exhaling. Cactusing the arm and gaze goes down. One more. Then we'll extend that left arm out, taking the gaze over to the right hand, maybe playing with the placement of the thumb on that opposite hand. So thumb might be up or thumb might be down, but breathing all the way from the pinky up into the back of the ear, and then allowing yourself to come up to neutral position. Shake it out. Roll the wrists. Let's roll down onto the back, and we'll do some warm-ups from upper of our floor. Hands on knees, fingertips pointing to the toes. Inhaling, allow the arms to straighten and the knees to come away from you. Exhale, knees into belly, Hanumanasana. There's like one thing that I do every day. This is it. And allowing the movement to be initiated by the breath. Right? What I mean by that is as I inhale, that's when the knees start to fall away. As I exhale, the knees start to bring into the belly. It's kind of like you're playing accordion with your body, allowing the air to release. Apanasana actually means wind releasing posture. Now, at any time, if you want to start to maybe roll the knees, so maybe the next time they come out, you take them out, down, and in. We're getting more into the growing here and inner thigh. Just kind of observing the nuances of the breath within the body. Take one more circle this way, and then we'll take it in the opposite direction. So whichever way you were going, maybe you were going in, down, and out now. Just kind of warming up and lubricating our joints. And then the next time the knees come away from us, take your arms out to a T, palm up, or even cactus arms with the palms up. That will be a little more intense of a shoulder opener, just heads up. Exhale, we're going to take the knees over to the right for a twist. Soften that left shoulder, maybe even reach those fingertips out. If you want, you can bring your right hand on top of that left thigh, just for a little overpressure. Now you're more than welcome to take a traditional supine twist by extending that bottom leg. But stacked knees is usually preferred if you have any low back issues. Let your bones feel heavy and feel the support of the earth underneath your body. Notice if there's any place in your mind or your body where you might be gripping. Maybe even in your jaw. See if you can just settle into the support of the earth. One more big breath. Inhale to center. We'll take those knees over to the opposite side now. And then settle into the support of the earth. So perhaps bringing that left hand to your right thigh, maybe extending the right arm out to the right, just softening that right shoulder blade into the earth. One side might be completely different than the other side, and that's okay. One more breath. Inhale to center. Hug the knees into the belly. Rock gently from side to side. You have your choice. You can rock to your side to come up to hands and knees. You can hug behind the knees and give yourself a couple of spinal rolls if that's all right with your spine. Catching yourself in boat pose. And then we'll come out into hands and knees. So palms spread wide. Wrists underneath your shoulders, knees hip distance apart. You can either tuck your toes if you need to stretch your feet, or you can be on the tops of your feet. Yogi's choice. Inhaling, softening the elbows, belly drops. Gaze up, exhale, chin to chest, belly button back to spine. Soften the eyes here. Go within the body, and maybe even move a little more organically. So what I mean by that is maybe after doing a few cat cows, that feels pretty good. Maybe you want to make some circles with your hips. Maybe you want to take it from cow to cat to child's pose. If you want to get more into your shoulders today, you can take your hands a little bit wider and make a little figure eights. But close the eyes and inquire within. See what your body wants to do, and do that for the next few rounds of breath. Moving through our last time, as you exhale, we're going to take it back to child's pose. Now, if you feel like you need to breathe more into your low back, you'll keep your knees together. If you're taking your breath into your hips are growing, you'll take your knees wide. Press the palms forward. If your forehead is able to touch the earth, you can massage your temples from side to side just by rocking front to back. You might find you have a little bit of sinus stuff going on. That is okay. Allow your forehead and your bones to feel heavy. Let the hips feel heavy as you feel the support of the earth underneath the body. Inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to walk the fingertips over to the right. So I'm reaching through those left fingertips, actively reaching with both hands. You can even tent up on the fingertips if that makes it more active for you, your choice. Inhale here. As we exhale, we'll walk the fingertips over to the opposite side. Inhale here as we exhale, back to center. Child's pose. So we're coming into a twisted child's pose. So I'm going to leave my right hand extended out forward, and I'm going to weave my left arm underneath. So I'm coming into the left temple. So you can tent up on those right fingertips if that feels better. You could even bring your right palm on top of your left palm. It's similar to thread the needle, which we've done before, but we haven't ever done this in a child's pose, which just allows the hips to be heavier versus the hips being over the knees. Notice if you're gripping in your mind or in your body. See if you can soften. One more breath. And then we'll switch sides. So just reaching out with the left hand now and weaving the right hand underneath. Maybe placing the left hand on top of right palm. And then releasing, coming back. So child's pose. We'll slide out onto our bellies. Oops, almost knocked my tea over. Move that out of the way. If you have low back stuff going on, feet as wide as your mat or feet wider than your mat, because normally feet would be hip distance apart. Coming into Sphinx Pose. So I'm grabbing my opposite elbows, allowing my elbows to be directly underneath my shoulders or slightly in front, and then bringing the forearms parallel like such. So I'm keeping the hands really active, but there's this idea of isometrically drawing the index finger and the thumb towards one another. And it's almost like I'm dragging my hands back like they have little suction cups on them and drawing the heart forward. So I'm rooting into the pubic bone. I'm rooting into the 10 toes. And you probably can't see from there, but my knees are lifted. And what that does is actually creates more space in the low back versus just kind of hanging there and compressing into the low back. It's really subtle. So think about as you draw the hands forward and bring the heart through like cow pose, lifting the crown of the head. As you exhale, just look over your right shoulder. Make sure your toes are still back there. Inhale to center, and then exhale over the left shoulder. Okay. Inhale to center. Squeeze the shoulders, bring the chin to the chest. So you're getting a nice little shoulder squeeze. And we're going to do that again. The difference here is that we're going to inhale, right? We're drawing the heart forward, the hands are back. Inhale. As we exhale, you're looking over the right shoulder, but notice if your left shoulder kind of dipped in. See if you can draw the left shoulder back so that the heart comes forward, even if it's just in the mind. And then we'll come back to center, take a nice big inhale. As we exhale, we'll do the same thing on the left shoulder. So see my right shoulder kind of already drawn in. I have to draw it back and draw the heart forward to center. Squeeze the shoulders, chin to chest. And then you can take Sphinx again, or if you want to move to more of a baby cobra, the main difference here is that the hands are slightly out, elbows draw in. So you get a little more height, but I'm still rooting into my pubic bone, and I'm still lifting through the crown of the head. There's still no compression in the low back. Exhale, forehead or one cheek to the earth. You do that 2 or 3 more times. Maybe Sphinx, maybe baby Cobra. After that last one, bring your, let me think how to teach this one. Okay, bring your left forearm parallel to the front of your mat. I'm gonna reach back with my right, for my right foot with my right hand. So just doing a nice calf stretch. Now if this is too much, you can always use a towel or something to make it longer to have like a strap. But what we were trying to do here is now that like we were squaring the hips, now we're squaring the shoulders the same, drawing that heel into the groin. Now, if you got your fingers across, the way to open up the shoulder more is that this little L shape of my fingers are right at my big toe. I can turn my fingers towards the front. That's a little more intense. It also gets into the shoulder. Yogi's choice. Yeah, it's just like such a subtle thing. So when you release, let it go, wiggle your hips, relax the jaw. That's usually what happens. And then we'll do that on the other side. So now right forearm parallel to the front of the mat. Now I'm reaching back with my left foot with my left hand. Same thing, maybe bringing that, try to get those fingertips forward or not. One side might be different than the other side. And that usually depends on like which hand is dominant. Like we usually have one arm, we're always putting like the heavy groceries on or our laptop bag on, et cetera, et cetera. So I try to keep that even. Then release, wiggle the hips. So from our little Sphinx posture that we're in, we're gonna also, while we're already on our bellies, we're gonna also do like a half frog pose. This is gonna be a little tricky to describe. So I'm taking my right foot and I'm bringing, so frog pose is where we are opening the inner groin and the hips. So my leg is out to the side like such, but on the earth. My other toe is rooted into the earth. And so you can just have your forearms out like Sphinx or together, however you want. But what I'm doing here is that I'm rolling the pelvis forward and rooting into that left toe. You can imagine if you were doing both of this at the same time, sometimes people will do it on blankets so they can really try to get that middle splits. But this is just a way to open the inner groin and the pelvis without, while like you're still supported under the earth. Like, could you imagine if you didn't have the earth underneath you, you would probably be gripping a lot more. Notice if you're gripping in your glute and see if you can just soften. I like to keep my right foot flexed though to protect my knee. You can keep your stuff active without gripping, if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense or not. Take another breath here, relax the jaw. Then release. You might want to wiggle the hips just slightly, and then we'll take that to the other side. So now I'm kind of lifting my left leg out like a little fire hydrant, flexing that left foot, but rooting into the right toenail, and then kind of rolling my pelvis towards the earth. You're kind of really opening up against the floor. And one side might be completely different than the other side. This side I think is more open, so it doesn't feel like I wasn't feeling as intense as the first side. One more breath. And then release. Shake it out. Press yourself back. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, take your right foot up and back. As we exhale, we're going to draw that right foot forward. We're coming into a low lunge. So if you have blocks that you need or anything like that, you can have your fingertips on either side. I'm leaving my left knee down on the earth here. Relax the jaw. I like to tense up on my fingertips so that way I know I'm not hanging into my joints as I roll the shoulders back and sink the hips and heart forward. And then give yourself some space so maybe that left hand even comes off of the mat. But And then right hand will come to the top of the right thigh. We'll take a twist to the right. If it feels okay, you can extend that right arm up to the ceiling, like you're squeezing your shoulder blades on the back. As you exhale, take that right hand towards the back of the room, but take your gaze down to the left hand. So we're breathing into that neck once again. And this time as you exhale, windmill that right arm alongside the right ear to the inside of the right foot. Now we're coming into an iguana pose or lizard pose. So the same idea as Sphinx or cow pose. See if you can soften the elbows and draw the heart forward slightly. And then squeeze that front shin towards your front forearm. You want to stick your tongue out like an iguana, you can. Then we'll walk ourselves back. Bring that right hand to the outside. So now we're coming into Arda Hanumanasana, so a half split. My left hip is directly underneath my left knee, and if you need to pad that with a blanket or a pillow, you're more than welcome to. You'll notice that my right toes are flexed back towards my face. You probably can't see, but my right knee is micro bent. So it's really bent because I have really tight hamstrings or quads. So if you feel that you're in the same predicament, you may want to bend that knee a lot. Inhale here, lengthen through the crown of the head and the heart. As you exhale, fold over that extended leg. Inhale, walk it forward. Bring the knees to touch. Sink it back, child's pose, or if you want, you can move through cat-cow to child's pose as we rinse the spine before we come to the other side. I'm going to turn around so that way when I twist, I won't have my back to you. Inhaling the left foot up and back. As we exhale, the left foot comes forward. Setting yourself up for your low lunge on this side. Shoulders away from ears, sinking the hips. One side might feel different than the other side, and that's okay. And then even here, maybe give yourself some space. The right hand will come off the mat. Left hand to that meaty part of your thigh. We don't want to put any pressure onto the knee. So pressing into that thigh to take the twist. Maybe the gaze goes up. Maybe the hand extends out. But the idea is to squeeze the shoulder blades on the back. That's giving me space in my neck. Another big breath here. As we exhale, the hand goes to the back of the room. Gaze goes down towards that opposite thumb. One more full breath into the neck. And then as we exhale, we windmill that left arm alongside the left ear to the inside of the left foot, coming into our lizard or iguana pose. Soften the heart and the elbows forward. Draw that shin towards that forearm. Relax the jaw. Maybe stick your tongue out like an iguana. Take one more breath, and then as you exhale, we'll shift the hips back. We come into our Arda Hanumanasana on this side. So hips over that right knee, flexing those left foot, and micro bending the left knee. Inhale, find the length. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, knees to touch. So maybe child's pose, maybe cat-cow. Maybe you take it all the way down to your belly and give yourself a few cobras, whatever your body is feeling. And then we'll meet back into tabletop. We'll run through that little sequence. Again, we'll just keep adding on. So let me change sides so that way my back isn't to you when I take the twist. Inhale the left foot up and back. Exhale. The right foot. Sorry, right foot forward. I don't remember what I said on that side. So we're coming back to our low lunge. Getting in there a second time, I'm feeling a little more heat or warmth in the body. Continue to sink the hips forward, soften the jaw. Maybe give yourself some space. So left hand will come off of that mat. Right hand can come to the right thigh. So we take a twist here. Now you have an option. You can do the same exact thing you did before, or if you want, you're feeling a little open in the legs, you can bend that back knee and reach for the pinky side foot to open up the chest. Yogi's choice. These are just, you can take them, you can leave them, you can do whatever you need to. One more breath. As we exhale, we're still releasing and windmilling that right arm alongside the right ear to the inside of the right foot, coming into our lizard or iguana posture. One more breath. As we exhale, shift the hips back, coming into Arda Hanumanasana. So that right hand comes to the outside of that right leg. Inhale, find the length. Exhale, fold in. You might even feel a little warming up in that right leg to kind of extend the right heel out a little more, making it more into a split if you want to. Now the main difference in this one is as we move out of this posture, slowly drawing the foot back, we're going to take that right foot towards that left wrist. So we're coming into pigeon pose here. If pigeon like this doesn't work for you, you can always take pigeon on the back, which would look like a figure 4. So taking your choice. So I'm tenting up here, I'm squaring the hips. And there's this, you'll notice I have my back toes are tucked under, and this is just for me to kind of draw the legs in like scissors, so I'm not collapsing in the low back. And once I feel like I'm active in my pelvis, then I can kind of be on the tops of my toes. So you can also take a twist here. So left forearm can come parallel to the front. You can bring your right hand to your right thigh and just take a nice twist, like a corkscrew all the way up to your spine. And then as you exhale, just fold forward any amount. So you can have 2 fists and rest your third eye on there. You can make prayer hands and bring them right to that part where the bridge of your nose meets your forehead. That's a nice little sinus pressure point. Feel the support underneath of the earth underneath the body, and as you exhale, just relax. Inhale. Slowly bring it all the way up. Rock your weight onto your right hip as we draw the left foot around. This is my favorite little transition and twist. So this left foot can either be to the inside of the right knee or to the outside. I'll let that be your choice. You'll notice that I'm always hugging that front shin because I'm thinking about rooting into this left toe pad. That's helping me stay length. As I exhale, taking the twist to the left. So maybe that left knee comes into the right elbow nook or the right elbow comes to the outside. But the same thing as we did before, the twist is coming from the belly button versus cranking with the arms. I know it's tempting. So keep the twist, take the gaze forward to that left toe, breathe into the side of your neck, and then we'll release the twist. Bringing that left knee on top of the right knee, so I'm wiggling here. And if this doesn't work for you, you can also take this on your back. So that would just look like hugging it in. I think it's a little bit more difficult. So however you are, I'm wiggling here. Inhale, find the length, and exhale. You can fold forward any amount, or if you want to add the arms, I'm taking my right elbow and I'm bending it. And I'm not in actually the bind, I'm just kind of grabbing the back of my tank top here. But what I am doing is I'm making sure there's plenty of space. There's temptation to kind of curl in. So I want to make sure that I have plenty of space. So I'm even pressing the back of my skull into my forearm. So you can be here, and then as you exhale, fold forward any amount. Then you can release the bind at any time. One more breath. And then go ahead and release the bind. folding forward. Inhale, slowly bring it all the way up, release your feet. Now there's a couple of things. Actually, we'll just do this one together like such. So my feet are hip distance apart. My fingertips are pointing towards the front of the room. And I'm just opening the chest. Chin is to chest, and I'm just opening it here. Seated. Now you can hug behind the knees, give yourself some spinal rolls because we're coming back to our tabletop, or you can make your way into tabletop where we will meet. So we can do the other side. Oh, I'm going to do the left side, so I'm going to turn around so that way when I twist, on the back isn't to you. Inhale the left foot up and back. As we exhale, the left foot comes forward for real this time. Sinking the hips, coming into our low lunge. Notice now we might be creating a little more heat in your body, and that's okay. Bring your right hand off of your mat. Give yourself that twist to the left. Now, same thing that we did on the other side. You can extend the left arm up, or you can reach back for that right foot to the pinky edge side. But as we exhale, windmilling that left arm alongside the left ear to inside of left foot and shin. So coming into our lizard pose. On the next exhalation, you'll slowly begin to shift your weight back. We'll come into our Arda Hanumanasana on this side. So left hand to the outside of the left leg. Maybe feeling a little warm in the legs, so maybe that left heel kind of comes out a little more, journeys out in front to more of a splits. Inhale, find the length, exhale, fold forward. And then as we make our way out, we'll slowly move our way back. Left foot comes towards your right wrist. So we'll set up for our pigeon on this side. Inhaling here, maybe taking that twist. So right forearm will come parallel to the front of the mat. Left hand to your left. Just twisting all the way up the body. And then as you're ready, forward folding any amount. So maybe if you tried the little prayer hands, maybe changing it up, maybe just making a couple of resting your forehead on your fists, or whatever it is going to feel good for you. Inhale, slowly bring it up. We'll shift our weight onto that left hip as I draw the right leg around. Now coming into our little twist. Right foot to the inside or the outside of that bent left knee. Rooting down into the right toe pad. So I'm hugging that right shin in just to find the length. Both of my sit bones are on the earth, so that should give me the length here. Inhale here, exhale, take the twist to the right. So maybe that right knee comes into the left arm, nook, or to the left elbow comes to the outside. Bringing the spine. And we'll keep the twist. We'll take the gaze towards that right toe, just breathing into the side of the neck. And then as we release, now our right knee comes on top of the left knee. Wiggle your hips. And this time, if we are adding our arms for a cow face pose, we will bend the left elbow. Then maybe reach back. Might be completely different on this side. So I feel like I've got a little more length here. Make sure I have space for my neck. Inhale, exhale, fold forward any amount. And of course, you can release the bind at any time. And inhale, bring it all the way up or release the legs. So you can do the same thing that we did before, or you can come into a reverse tabletop. That's up to you. So if you have tight shoulders, like my fingertips are pointed forward, you might even want to try bringing the fingertips pointing out. So if they were this way before, maybe even giving yourself a little space as such. Wrists directly underneath the shoulders, and inhale, lifting. I keep my chin tucked, but some people like to bring their head back. It's depending on what's going on with your neck. Feet are parallel, feeling nice big chest opening, and then as we exhale, slowly lowering down, hugging behind the knees, and giving yourself a few spinal rolls as we come back into our tabletop, either going through some cat-cow to rinse the spine, or maybe taking it all the way down to the belly and doing a few cobras or baby cobras. As we'll start to cool down the body now. Last time through, as we inhale, right foot up and back, exhale, right foot comes forward. Sorry, I keep needing to move around so my back isn't to you. We'll come into our low lunge. Last time through low lunge. And now we're starting to feel pretty warm probably in the legs. I definitely feel a little more open than I was when I started. Take your left hand off the mat. Give yourself some room for that twist. Your choice here again, reaching back for that foot or not. Exhale, windmilling that right arm to the inside of the right foot, releasing that back leg for Iguana Pose. Now, if you're feeling pretty open in your Iguana Pose now, you could even come down to your forearms if you wanted to. Eventually, the next posture would be trying to get this knee behind the shoulder, the shoulder behind the knee. I'm not there yet this morning. Relax the jaw. And then as you exhale, shift your weight back. We'll come into our last Arda Hanumanasana, half split. So right hand to the outside of the right leg, maybe even the heel starts to come out a little more, maybe not. As you exhale and fold. I love Arta Hanumanasana, or the story of Hanumanasana is the Monkey King, right? So the Monkey King is helping Arjuna in the book, the Ramayana. And it's, anyway, so he needs help to save the princess, and the Monkey King has to make this leap between these two huge mountains. That's what this posture is representative of, the Monkey King's, Hanuman's leap of faith, which I think is kind of nice. As we move out, slowly, right foot towards your left wrist into our pigeon. Take a twist or not. We're going to be here a little bit longer, so make yourself comfortable. So if you want to rest your forehead on two fists, for your third eye, soften the jaw. We'll be here for about 10 to 15 breaths. Take one more full breath. We're going to do something a little bit different. As you start to move out of this posture, you're going to roll out onto your back, like you were setting up for corpse pose. The reason for this is just observing, because we were in that hip opener for about 10 to 15 breaths, just observing the prana as it moves through the body. So you're releasing the posture, you're feeling the oxygenated blood running from the right side through the body, maybe to the left side. You may feel a little warmth or tingling sensation. What we don't ever want to have is like a sharp shooting pain, but any of this being at the edge and moving of the prana is kind of a cool feeling. Just letting that dissipate. Extending out, maybe hugging behind the knees, and we'll come up to our hands and knees posture, however you want to get there. Or last and final side before we cool down the body. So if you want to rinse the spine, I love doing cat-cows to rinse the spine and neutralize the spine in between sides. But if Cobra or Sphinx works better for you, by all means. All right, last side, left foot up and back. Draw that left foot forward and set yourself up for your last low lunge. Heart comes through. Soften the jaw. Give yourself space, and that right hand will come out to the right. Left hand to thigh to twist. Maybe reaching back for the pinky edge side with that right foot or not. As we exhale, windmilling that left arm alongside the left ear to the inside of the left foot, coming into our Iguana Pose. So maybe if you're ready to come down forearms, you can. What usually happens when we come to the forearms is that I puff up in the shoulder blades, which is exactly what I just did. So I have to kind of remind myself to send the heart forward and draw the left shin in towards the left elbow, all while relaxing the jaw. Be gentle with yourself and have compassion for yourself as you start to move out of this posture. Bring yourself back up, left foot towards your right wrist. Setting up for pigeon. So taking, I didn't do the Arda Hanumanasana. I'm sorry. I don't want you to be all jacked up.
All asymmetrical and everything.
I would have remembered it at the end of the thing, like when I used to wait tables, to be like, I never brought that person their ranch dressing. Okay, Arda Hanumanasana, definitely. Maybe you're more open on this left side. Who knows? This side might be even more open on the left side. Inhale here, exhale. Fold forward. Slowly bring yourself out. Now we will bring that right foot with the right wrist, setting yourself up for pigeon. Folding forward any amount. Same thing will be here for about 10 to 15 breaths. So make yourself comfortable as you surrender to the support of the earth. Slowly bring yourself up. And the same thing that we do on the other side, release out onto your back like you were doing Shavasana. And just feeling that prana move through the body. Now, you're more than welcome to stay just like so for your final relaxation posture. Or if you want to just do last few movements of the body. So maybe just bringing the knees into the belly for a few rounds of Alpanasana. I always like to end with my soles of my feet together and my heels into my groin. Maybe a little happy baby. And if you need to do legs in the air or shoulder stand to Halasana, to any of those normal things that we have done along these weeks, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, you'll unfurl out into your final relaxation posture of Shavasana. If being prone on the back is too much, you can always take your feet as wide as your mat and let your knees touch, like you were kind of finishing a bridge. You could also bring the soles of the feet together and have your knees wide for butterfly pose. That's on the back. You could put pillows or blocks underneath your thighs if they're still hovering in the air. That's also another way. Or you could take seated meditation. Wherever you are, allow your breath in your body to feel supported by the earth. So take a nice big inhalation. As you exhale, let it go. Soften your eyelids, soften your throat and your jaw. So maybe you can swallow here and release any tension you may have there. Let your shoulders relax. Just soften into the support of the earth. Bring your attention back to your breath and your body. Inhaling fully, exhaling fully. All the way through your fingers and your toes. So maybe even wiggling the fingers and toes, making some circles with the wrist and the ankles. Just stirring the body awake. Maybe even inhaling, taking the arms out and up, taking up space, and exhaling, letting it go. Or you can even curl in like we did at the beginning of class. That felt pretty good. Inhale, take your arms out and up once again. Let it go with a big sigh. Let's bring our palms together in front of our hearts, thumbs and pinkies pressing evenly against one another, and maybe just observe the mind and the body and the breath. Notice if anything shifted for you today. Perhaps coming back to your intention or your word that you said at the beginning of class. Let's thank our minds and our bodies for all the work that they did today. I want to thank you for taking the time to honor yourself and your practice. It's my privilege to be able to share my practice with you. The light and dark in me sees and acknowledges the light and dark with you. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming to class.
Thank you. That was great.
Oh, awesome. Let me know. I'm always down. I love doing grounding work and stuff where we don't really have to get off of the earth because I love that earth energy. I feel like we need the earth, the grounding more than ever now. So
Yes.
About practice. So if that ever gets old.
Those are great. You know, how long have I been doing this now? A month. And, you know, when I first started with you, because I have MS, I'm super weak. I really had difficulty holding my weight up in the cat and table poses with my arms. I had to go down on my elbows. Now here it is only a month later, and I was able to do the whole lesson.
Yay!
Yeah, improvement so quickly. I just, yay.
It's really amazing to me how resilient the body is. And even for me as a teacher, as someone that I feel like even my practice as I age is different. Like it's not like the 90-minute Ashtanga that I always thought. If I wasn't doing 90 minutes of Ashtanga, then I wasn't doing yoga. But for me, it's like it's becoming that whole like having the compassion of where you're at every day is not going to be the same. And just that alone, as long as you're showing up to the mat every day, that is kind of the practice, right? That's why they call it practice. So I
Yes.
appreciate that you are here. Thank you so much for your kind words. That really has made my heart feel full. And
Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it more than you know.
absolutely, absolutely. I'll see you next week. Have a great rest of your weekend.
I hope you do too. See you then. Bye.